How you doing out there? This is John Wayne Mercure, the Sonneteer, and I'm talking to you from beautiful, beautiful Chandler, Arizona. You ought to give it a try. It's all new. It's all beautiful. The police are great. The government is great. The taxes are low. And why do you want to go to California, or that communist California, and pay all those taxes? Well, here I'm going to tell you something about this. Is really serious, all right? There's people in pain, and some of you out there, I'm talking to you. I'm a retired high school principal, academic guidance counselor, world history teacher, American history teacher, civics, government. Hey, I've been there, and I'm talking to you right now. I want you to listen to this man. This is dead serious. I've been carrying this book around for 57 years. And here's what it says. Listen very carefully, all right? This is Dear Abby. I really like this thing here. Dear Abby, I am enclosing a copy of your column I've kept for nearly 20 years. This column was a constant help during a very difficult period of my life when I often felt I just couldn't make it through another day. Very poor gave me the courage to do so. And perhaps if you print it again, it may help others as it did me. I still carry a copy in my purse, and now it's in cyberspace. Dear Abby, I carry a copy in my purse, and I reread it when the going gets difficult. From New York City. And here's it is, all right? Dear JJ, I agree. Very poor richly deserves a rerun. And here it is. Dear Abby, I've been reading the problems sent to your column, and I hope you will print this because it might do a lot of good to a lot of people. I'm in a charity hospital with arthritis, tuberculosis, heart trouble, and I am gradually losing my eyesight. I'm only 38, but I can't remember being free from pain in 22 years. Double deuce. He's been in terrible pain for 16 years. And I'm going to tell you, hey, the poppy's a flower. It's from God, and they won't let him have pain medication. Hey, if I could wake up, he says, just one morning feeling good without pain again, I wouldn't care if my wife, if I had one, I wouldn't care if she flirted with another man. What I'm trying to say, Abby, is if a person can get up in the morning and go to work on his own, 2 legs, he should get down on his knees and thank God. For without health, you have nothing, even if you are rich. And I feel sorry for this guy, and I put it in there. I've been carrying it forever. Why? There's suffering around us, and we're letting people suffer, and that's why I wrote this sonnet, all right? I don't want people in pain, and I wrote this sonnet about that. Sonnet number 1214, in honor of my hero, William Shakespeare. Afflicted with pain, not addicted. That's the name of the sonnet. Afflicted with pain, not addicted. It's the pain. The pain is so bad, people bang their heads on rocks to get away from pain. Government, unelected officials, nobody elects them, stripping away licenses, telling doctors if you do anything that we say about opioids or something we don't want you to prescribe or over a certain amount, then we're going to take away your license. And I have a great doctor, Dr. Petar Novakovich. He's my hero. He's a descendant of Alexander the Great. And his assistant, Dr. Turchanova, is from Ukraine. And he's from Montenegro, Black Mountain, Alexander the Great's country in Greater Macedonia. What I'm telling you, I don't want them taking away his license. So I endure the pain. There is no other choice. Endure the pain. Patience, suffering from unbelievable pain. It's so senseless. Doctors with a sword of Damocles over their head. It's like a razor blade. A sword dangling over the head. Their professional head. I mean, they're going to take away my license, all that work, and the government comes in and I can't work. Predators in government. They're doing that, just threatening people, stalking doctors, monitoring doctors, ugly government thugs. I mean, they work so hard to become doctors, and now people get sued all the time because they're doctors. I mean, they have deep pockets with these sewer lawyers. Doctors need our help. They spend years in training, and then they get harassed. Then they threaten them, your license is going to be revoked. And as Shakespeare said, you take away my livelihood, you take away my life. This is serious stuff here. And the first thing they got to do is they got to shut that border. We can't have drugs coming across. And no, the cartels don't want it. And no, the Democrats, Satan's little helpers don't want it. But we got to do that, all right? This stuff about here, doctors under surveillance, computer spies are always monitoring them down to every little pill. Rage is invoked. I'm angry about it. I don't want you hassling my doctor. My dentist has to make prescriptions. My Dr. Novakovic, Dr. Majid, the king. I'm an old man. I'm 76 years old, and I still have my teeth. Every tooth in your head is more valuable than a diamond. And you got to remember that, because I'm getting mad about this. The Centers for Disease and Prevention, come on, they're the ones that have Gestapo tactics, running around telling doctors we're going to take away your license. They're scoundrels, depriving people in pain. They won't let people in pain have their vital medications. I know people that are in pain. You have to endure it, I guess, because they don't give a damn, believe me. My bard, my hero, William Shakespeare, my hero, he said, they scoff in pain who have never felt a wound. And everybody can endure grief except he who has it. I mean, they've never had pain, and they think they know what it is. Retarded children, idiot children. They take matches and they light spiders on fire. And when they light spiders on fire, what are we going to say? We're going to say, well, those kids, the spider's dying? Yeah, and they're playing around. They don't care that spider is writhing. They're watching, they're laughing as the spiders writhe in hideous agony. They're in pain. They love to watch one of God's creatures suffer so horribly. And some of those people are crazy, those little kids. They'll grow up and they'll want to do that to a human being. They've done it to others. Has any one of these government goons ever had decent pity? Decent pity on old people that are in pain as the elderly live with torment and despair? Clear into insanity. Pain can make you crazy. And they say they're overdosing. Maybe they think that, to stop this pain, maybe it'd be better to be dead. And that's a clean way, really. That's a flower. That's a poppy there. And I'm telling you, I'm angry about this. I don't want the doctors to be suffering, all right? Pain can definitely drive you crazy, into despair, into insanity. The government doesn't give a damn if people are in pain. Vain bureaucrats. They've never had a wound. They're stopping opioids. Well, they know the dose. They know the dose. It's always the dose. Deliberate, vicious plans to leave people in pain. I love Arizona. I really do. It's a beautiful state. It's nothing but beauty to me. I mean, Metro Phoenix is one of the most beautiful metropolitan areas in the world. It's gorgeous here. Yet, I can't stand the Department of Health Services. They're the ones. Why is service denied to people in pain? Government officials should be despised for doing that, making old people suffer, little kids suffer that are in pain. They would rather have people in pain than using God's remedies. Hey, it's a poppy, it's a flower. I mean, the veterans used to sell poppies and little things. I even have one from the old days when they sold poppies, and they said, oh, that's heroin. Hey, it's God's remedy. And I'm not saying heroin should be given to people, and yet I am. And I'll tell you why. And what they're doing, these government bugs, das ist eine deutsche Ordnung. You have an order. You do as we say, or your license is gone. They're just following German orders. Das ist eine deutsche Ordnung. Or get fired. Forked tongue is what you have to have. You can't tell the truth. They might even shoot you. I mean, in Germany, you think you had a choice if they drafted you? If you were in Japan, when they drafted you, you think you had a choice? And they make you speak with forked tongues. I'm talking to you as men out there and women out there. A poppy is a gift from God to be used as true relief. True relief. You know heroin's proper dosage is available. There's no grief. They know the dosage, and I'm going to prove it to you. So they murdered John Belushi. They murdered Janis Joplin. They murdered Jimi Hendrix because they know the dose. They know it from a flower. They'd rather have people in pain. Has anyone really understood that death is preferable to pain? That pain is so bad you'd rather be dead? There's a lot of people like that, and they won't even let them have any medication. Alas, nobody in the Center for Disease gives a good goddamn. They don't. because they're not in pain. They don't understand. The Arizona Medical Board is culpable. They're to blame too. They're guilty, letting people drown, not fighting back, saying, you can't take our licenses away. These people are in pain and they need it. And the first thing that's got to happen is that border's got to be shut down. And the Democrats, Satan's little helpers, don't want us to control it, to control the drugs. I'll tell you what, they're letting people drown. It's just raw hubris, conceit, arrogance, being pedantic. They don't care about little babies, the abortion and all of that. Laugh while old people just break down and die. I had this woman one time, she says, when we get old, you know what they do to us? And I said, no, but I'm listening, young old lady. Beautiful woman. And she said, when we get old, my people, they give us a loaf of bread and they tell us to go. Oh my, what? They let you go out in the storms and freeze? Yeah, he says, we can't feed you anymore. We can't take one more mouth. And that's how a lot of old people get treated, especially by their own kids. I can't stand to see animals suffer. I'm just thinking about things I've seen in the paper. This dog with his front paws mangled and strangle marks around his neck, and they had to amputate its toes because it couldn't live, walk without feet and paws in the front. And they had to put the dog down. They had to give a little euthanasia there. And human beings do that. I mean, let alone human beings. Animals are in pain. Hey, when an animal's in pain, we put it down. I'm not saying we should put people down, but I can't stand to see animals suffer. Why do they let human beings suffer? Why is the Gestapo in charge? And I'm not kidding here. In the 1930s, they took away 10,000 and more doctors' licenses, physicians, medical doctors' licenses for prescribing marijuana. Hey, that's a new medieval inquisition. Now, I'm going to tell you some important stuff here because I got books. I got to back it up. But I got this marked here. I love this book. Why? Because I don't know how I ever lived without it. It says here, The Magic of Hydrogen Peroxide. It's a great book. Why? Because the peroxide is a miracle. And hey, the 3%, that's what we normally use at home. 3% hydrogen peroxide is what we use. But then there's 6%, they use that for bleaching and coloring hair. 30% is used in chemical laboratories to manufacture textiles and paper, so it's a bleach that's strong. 30%. 30 to 32% electronic grade. They use it for computers and making foam rubber. 35 to 50% pure technical and food grade. That means they clean and sanitize the manufacturing equipment associated with food processing. So it's really a good killer of germs. Look, 90 to 99%, they make bombs with it. The military has it. They use it in fuel. They use it for high energy. They use it for renewable energy in lightweight engine uses. Here's what I'm telling you. 90 to 99% is, they know the dose. Exactly. And I'm here screaming in the wilderness. I'm telling you, look, I'm going to read this to you. I hope you listen. All right? I didn't write this. The book is Drugs in the Human Body. All right? It says here, a doctor wrote this. There is little evidence that addiction to heroin or opioids actually results in organ damage to the human body. We know that heroin usually has to be injected 3 to 5 times a day, and that immediately after a fix, addicts may nod off and thus be recognizable. They're nodding, they're sleepy, but afterward, they can act as normal as anyone and feel good. The government doesn't want you to feel good. They can perform a job, perform manipulative surgery. Even physicians can perform surgery on the right dose of heroin. And as long as addicts can get their drugs and do not overdose, it's the dose. And I did it if they can do it for hydrogen peroxide, they can do it for heroin. And they know that's why they're murdering people. And it says here, hey, they can function normally in society as long as they don't overdose. The director of Public Health Services Addiction Research Center in Kensington, Kentucky, has been quoted as saying, it is not possible to tell and say for certain that addiction cases are marked with physical deterioration, because we don't know that. Cigarette smoking and alcoholism are unquestionably more damage to one's health than heroin use. And I'm telling you the truth. And they crucify people for telling the truth. There's big money here. There's big money. I mean, if it's cheap, it's from a flower in the right dose, in the right dose, in amphetamines too. I'm talking about that great series on TV, Breaking Bad. He couldn't pay his medical bills. He couldn't pay his medical bills. Clint Eastwood, the great Clint Eastwood, my hero, all right? Hey, what he said was, hey, I can't pay they're going to foreclose on my house. I'm 90. They're going to throw me in the street. He didn't have a choice. So he went bad, Breaking Bad, being a mule at 90. And I guess that's a true story. Good movie. Why? He didn't have a choice. And Walter White in that Breaking Bad, he didn't have a choice either. He couldn't get his medical bills paid. What's he going to do? Just die? You can't let him die. And I'm going to tell you the truth right now, and you better open your ears and listen. The people that started amphetamines are the United States government and the German government of World War II and the Japanese government of World War II. And the wrong dosage, like 40% of the Japanese people were addicted to amphetamines. But the dose, they know the dose. Chemical engineers know the dose. And why are they doing that? They're murdering people. Get the right dose and make people feel better. They need to feel better. Everybody needs to feel better. Do they have to self-medicate? That's what you want people to do. You make me sick. You want them to buy liquor, and you want them to smoke, and you want them to do all these other drugs when the right level of crystal, all right? I mean, I keep thinking about that poor teacher, Mr. White. Mr. White. He wanted to live. He didn't want to die. He had to make money any way he could. He didn't want to die. Death scares most people. And you got to understand, desperate people do desperate things. If you got a man out there with a wife and 5 hungry kids, that man will do anything to feed that wife and those children. He'll do anything. And we got to be in a situation where we're going to help each other. I'm asking you now out there, all of you veterans especially, you Green Berets, you Rangers. One of my best friends was a Ranger, and he got all kinds of decorations. He was first in his parachute class, first in his Ranger class. And I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to you Navy SEALs, you military, you active military, you veterans. You got to stand up. I mean, you know how to give orders. When we need some order, law and order, and you need to help me. And I'm thinking about this thing here, but they won't give old people pain medication. That's bullshit. They got to break the border down up 30 feet. Whatever's old and broken down, hey, we got to have a 30-foot wall. And then we could control the drugs. And of course the drug people don't want to do it. Of course they're not going to want me to say that. I expect you to follow Jesus and maybe get an honest job and maybe a legitimate citizen. And you can. You can. You don't have to, crime don't pay. Well, you're hurting all of us. These drugs, they know the dosage. We got to get the right dose in heroin, and we got to get the right dose in amphetamines, and we got to make sure that people can get it to feel better. And we'll just don't overdose. All right? And they've had great success in Holland, and I love Holland. I love Amsterdam. And you got to understand, it's just freedom. There should be some freedom with pain. You've never really had a wound. All right? You just haven't, and you laugh and you say, let that old man over there ride like that spider on fire. Those crazy kids doing that. And it's saying, oh, look, he's riding, he's burning to death. I know this gorgeous woman. She was 24. She was one of the most beautiful women in the world. I mean, her sister, Catherine Deneuve, is so pretty. And her sister wrecked in her car and burned to death. They couldn't even tell who it was, all right? Life is short. And think of the pain. They couldn't even identify the corpse. And I loved her, all right? Francoise d'Orléac and her sister, Catherine Deneuve. And that's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. And, you know, the pain she was in, nothing would have helped her. She's burning to death. But they're letting people burn to death. They are. And I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of the Drug Enforcement Administration. You know, if we shut that border and do the right dose and let people have it, maybe all this shit would go away. Let people feel good. Why do they have to drink and get drunk all the time? And alcohol's much worse. I mean, if you cross a certain line, too many drinks, you become a lion and you'll kill people. And it's mentioned in Les Miserables, if you read it. But this thing I read to you here, afflicted with pain, being in pain, and I'm in pain. But the Romans say, endure it, endure it. There is no other way. There is no other choice. Endure it. At least you're alive. Yeah, that's true. And we're not addicted. We don't want to be addicted, but we want the right dose. Is that fair? Is that fair? I think I'm a member of American Citizens United. You got to help me, and you're not helping me. I want you to make videos. I want you to get out there and say what needs to be said. Hey, I'm a radical Republican. The Republicans freed the slaves. The Democrats had the slaves, and they want you to vote for them so they can enslave all of us with 100% taxation. And what I'm saying is, hey, help me, please, pretty please, with sugar and honey on it. This is John Wayne Mercure, the Sonneteer. God bless us, everyone. Ja Allah, Allah Ja, pour vous. Mes amis, au revoir. Thank you for listening.